What was it like working with college program members? Was I there for Undercover Boss at Silver Dollar City? Why don't I talk more about certain departments and other parks? And so many more questions. Well, I've got answers. If you missed my most recent live stream, you missed that I actually created an ideas board. It's basically an online sticky note bulletin board that people can post their ideas, their questions, their suggestions for videos, and kind of see what I have in my pipeline as well as what possible projects I'm working on. If you'd like to know more about that and check it out and see what's there, there's a link in the description, so be sure to check that out. One of the things that I have gotten on it is a lot of questions, ones that I can't really do a full video about on their own, but a number of things that people are asking about that I probably should answer for you. So I've got them printed up here. I've got my glasses so I can actually read it. Yes, sorry. You wait till you get older. But I thought I would just kind of go through several of these here and just talk about some of them. One of the very first ones was, what was it like working with a fellow cast member that was part of the Disney College Program? This is probably going to bum you out for an answer. It wasn't any different than working with anybody else. CPs were just other cast members, and we all went to work, and we all did our jobs, and there wasn't anything... I mean, if you stared at their name tag, you could see what college they were from, but there wasn't anything about them that was flashing, "College program, look at me, I'm a CP." We were all just people doing our jobs. There really wasn't any difference, at least as far as working goes, between a CP and a regular cast member. Now, their social life over at the Commons and wherever they were staying, that's a whole different deal, and I didn't deal with that because I was married with kids. Didn't apply to me. But there really wasn't any difference. And so I have people asking me all the time, what about college program people? What's it like to be with them? It ain't any different. Sorry, they're employees like everybody else. Which Disney park around the world does a better job when it comes to theming at the parks? Now, this is a little hard for me to say because I have only been to the US parks and to Paris. And of the parks I have been to, Disneyland Paris is far and away the most beautiful, best themed of those parks. It's gorgeous. Right behind it, I would probably say Animal Kingdom. Beyond those, though, personally, I can't say because I haven't been there. But from what I have seen other people say, the general consensus seems to be that Disney Sea in Tokyo is the best themed Disney park. One of these days, I would love to get to go and see it myself, but yeah, not yet. But of the ones I've been to, Paris would be there. Why do we tend to see more walk-around characters at Disneyland than at Walt Disney World? And this is a question I've wondered myself. And I don't know that I really know the answer to this. Disneyland has a lot more tradition with it than Walt Disney World does. It also does not have a lot of locations that would work well as places for the characters to basically be permanently stationed. One thing you'll notice at Walt Disney World when the characters have their photo spots, these are spots that are designed for them to basically be at all day and take pictures. And Disneyland does have a couple. There's the Princess Fair and a couple things like that. I think Disney World has been much more focused on, let's put them in one place, let's make lines, let's get photo pass pictures, and let's make money. And that kind of comes down to a lot of it, I think. It was something that when we were at Disneyland, I absolutely loved the fact that the characters were still walking around, still playing, still interacting that way, and very spontaneous. I think Walt Disney World misses out on some of that, which is kind of sad. It really is. As far as why, I can't give you an actual reason because I don't know. That's all decided by management, but I think in the end it comes down to money. Had somebody ask me, what are your top 10 favorite Imagineers? And I was kind of going, do I even know 10 Imagineers? Basically, I have 3 Imagineers that come to mind right off the bat. And that is Joe Rohde, Marty Sklar, and Tony Baxter. Tony Baxter, if you don't know, designed Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, and pretty much the whole Disneyland Paris park. Amazing man. Marty Sklar headed up Imagineering for decades. He was the guy and was actually one of the original employees, one of the original cast members at Disneyland. He goes way back. And then, of course, Joe Rohde designed pretty much all of Animal Kingdom. That is Joe Rohde. So those three are very well known. And then, of course, you've got Walt's Old Men, and there's a lot of very well-known names there, but picking a favorite? Okay. So here's a good opportunity for me to hit this too. What is your favorite? Whatever. Why don't you ever pick favorites? I don't pick favorites generally. There are a couple rare exceptions. I don't have one or two that I like of anything very often more than everything else. I generally like large groups of stuff. So, for example, my roller coasters. I have what I call a top tier. And there's like 20 roller coasters in this top tier. And I'm quite happy to be on any one of them. It doesn't really matter which one. And the same thing is true as far as foods. You know, what's your favorite food? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite character? What's your favorite park? My favorite park, the one I'm in. My favorite ride, the one I'm on. I really don't tend to pick favorites very well because they change so often with my mood, with my circumstances, with what I'm doing, with what I've eaten that day. So there really isn't a favorites thing. So when you do see a list of favorites, for example, my recent video about shows, that's unusual. And even that ranking will change some. And there were shows that I completely blanked and missed on that. Is it worth taking a trip to Disney with the elderly, with little kids, with... I get these kinds of questions a lot as well. The first problem with these kinds of questions is is it worth it? I don't know. I can't answer if it's worth it. It may be worth it to me, but I'm not you. Same thing, what rides and what attractions should we experience? What are the best? I can tell you what I like, but I'm not you. So for me to decide what is best and what is worth for you, I can't do. Because I don't know you. I don't know your circumstances. I don't know your finances. I don't know your health. I don't know your likes and dislikes and those kinds of things. So it's very hard for me to throw out any sort of answer to those kinds of questions. The question specifically I got here was, is it worth taking a trip to Disney with somebody that is elderly? Would it be an easy thing to do or a hard thing to do? Okay, what's their health like? Are they mobile? Do they depend upon a wheelchair? Can they walk around? Do they have good endurance? I don't know. Do they like stuff like that? See, this is what I mean. It sounds like a simple question, but I really don't know. I have seen people take what you would call elderly to the park. I've seen people in their 80s and 90s at Disney and loving it. I talk about the grandmother in her 70s that saw Mickey for the first time and started crying. Would that family tell you it was worth it? Absolutely. I have no idea how much money they spent and how much it hurt their budget and things like that. And that's another thing that all factors in too. Is it worth spending that money to you? I don't know. So this is one of those deals that on the top surface, I would say, hey, if they're mobile, if they're able to get around, if they don't have any real disabilities and you have the money for it, sure, why not? Why don't you ask them? That's a good place to start. Do they even want to go? And then kind of go from there. So it's hard for me to do trip planning for people I don't know because I don't know. And I don't know all the circumstances. So are elderly able to have fantastic times at Disney? Yes, absolutely. In fact, you see a lot of seniors and retired and others at the parks on a regular basis without kids. So yeah, they do go. But the rest of it I can't answer. Sorry. Kind of related to that, why haven't you done a video about such and such park? Ones I had mentioned recently were Adventureland and Thorpe Park in the United Kingdom. Why don't you do a video about them? I haven't been there. It's really hard for me to do a video about a place that I haven't been and have no experience with. This is the same reason why I don't do videos about other departments I didn't work. I get asked about security a lot. Can you do a video about security? No, I can't, because I haven't worked with security. I haven't done security. I don't know about security. And so I'm not going to do a video about something I don't know about. I have tried to do some collabs recently with people who've worked in other departments. You got to see the one with my daughter talking about working in the kids area. I've got a video coming up later about working foods at the parks and trying to do some things like that. I've got a couple others in the works with different departments as well. But I'm not going to do a video about a place that I have never been to. I'm not going to do a video about a department I haven't worked in or directly with. Now, if you want to know which parks I have been to, I have a scribble map. which is an online interactive map that you can see where I have been. And I'll put that link in the description below as well. So you can kind of see where I've been and where I haven't, and that will probably help out with that a lot. Yeah, I try to keep the videos to stuff I know. Was I at Silver Dollar City for Undercover Boss? This is another one that I love the episode. The guy who was the company president and did the episode at the time, I did get to see Joel a bunch, but I was not there during the filming of the episode. It happened 2 years before I was actually there, and I think it was actually filmed 3 years before I was there. In fact, of all the employees that were featured in the episode, there was one left at the park besides the company president. In fact, the featured guy at Silver Dollar City, he was actually in college, and I think he had just started a wild adventure in Georgia when I got there. And then the guy that was on the overnight crew, I think he was the one person that was left, and he worked overnights, so we didn't ever see them. So honestly, I had no interaction even with the people who were in the episode. I did see us film commercials a couple times in the parks, but no, I didn't have anything to do with it, wasn't there. I knew people who were there and got to hear their comments a little bit. For most of them, it was like, it's just an extended commercial. That's how a lot of them felt about it. But no, I don't have any personal knowledge of that one either. Sorry. I know, kind of a bummer. I would have been really cool to have been there for it and maybe say, oh yeah, I saw him do it, but I got to do enough filming and TV and commercials and other stuff when we lived in Florida, and I got a whole video about that. So check that out. That may even have the answers you're looking for as far as what it's like to be on TV and stuff like that, because I have done that. And then lastly, do the comments about your singing bother you? If you've watched my live streams in particular, but you may see it in other videos as well, that I do like to sing. I love singing. I will have a couple of my regular commentators comment, oh no, he's singing again. My ears, ow, ow, ow. In particular, Craig is well known for this. Craig is a good friend. He is not just a financial supporter and a patron. I've actually gotten together with him a number of times. In fact, he's the one we're going to Pennsylvania with in June. And Craig is a wonderful guy. It is an ongoing joke. No, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I think it's pretty hilarious, to be totally honest with you. But that is because I know Craig, and I know where he is coming from, and I know he is not serious, and it's just a good tease between friends. And so, if you'll notice, a lot of times he will tease me about singing, and then I will deliberately sing more. So it's just a razzing. Nope, doesn't bother me at all. I think it's hilarious. So there are a number of questions I've been asked and answers to them. I hope you find those interesting. If you've got questions, if you've got video ideas, if you've got comments, if you've got suggestions, or you just kind of want to know what's coming up, check my ideas board. Again, link is in the description to it. There's all sorts of little post-it notes, and you can kind of skim through them, and you will see that I did answer a couple of them on there as well. Be sure to check that out. Check out my Scribble map so you can see where I've been, sometimes when I was there, and that way you have an idea why I haven't done videos on certain places. And hopefully what I will get to do videos on. Kennywood and Hershey Park, and yes. And there's a ton of other information in the description as well, so be sure to check that. Thank you so much for watching the video, for liking, for sharing, for subscribing. I really appreciate that. Thank you too to my patrons and my supporters. Craig is far from the only one. I've got a whole group of them, and they are amazing and bless me in so many ways. If you want to know more about those and the perks that come with it, be sure to check the description below as well. There's both memberships on Patreon and YouTube. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. I'd love to hear from you. You don't even need to... As far as why I can't give you a real good definition, or... the first problem with... Yeah. Oh my gosh. Stupid phone. Isn't timing. Okay. Ones I've had mentioned recently were Adventureland in Altoona. That's not right. Ones I had Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.